Hey there, Scorpio. Welcome to your reading for the week of November 3rd. We're going to jump right in here. You have this healing energy card. It says you're in the process of healing, eliminating any bad energy from your life. You have this infinite possibilities. It says you're on the right path. Favorable energies are guiding you at this time, which is amazing. So you clearly could be on the right path. It is a good time for healing, which has come up for basically everyone because we have Mercury retrograde this month on the 9th, and so we're pretty close. And any extra healing or any extra time you could give to yourself would be really good and very beneficial. It's always a good time to heal, so I would take advantage of that. In your first row here for your current general energies, you have the Seven of Pentacles, Seven of Wands, and the Ten of Swords. Sometimes I feel that 2 sevens are internal fears that don't exist, or and you have the Ten of Swords, which the Ten of Swords kind of says something is dead, done, over with. But you do have this card here that says you're on the right path. Favorable energies are guiding you at this time. So, this kind of looks to me like the fear of the unknown or the fear of not knowing the future, more or less. The Seven of Pentacles is a card of analysis. He is looking at those 7 pentacles and he's saying, is the juice worth the squeeze? He's looking at everything he's done or everything he has been doing in his life, and he's saying, like, is it worth it or not for me to keep working on these pentacles, or is there something better that I could be doing with my time? And again, I can't answer that question for you, but he is kind of like wondering if he is done with something or not. And I'm wondering if you are kind of like in that stage of your journey where you're wondering, are you done with something, or are you going to keep going, or are you ready for a change? I kind of feel like you're ready for a change just based off all the cards that are showing up here. You have the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is a card of conviction. It says when you know that something is for you, it's for you, when you truly believe it deep down inside. So we have to develop those like deeper beliefs. I think with 2 sevens, like I said, this is a little bit of, and also the Ten of Swords here, this is a little bit of the fear of the unknown, of the future. And I don't really, I think sometimes I feel with the Seven of Wands that he feels like he's not ready. He has this like shoe and a boot on his foot here. He put on 2 different shoes. The story of the card is he had to rush out of his home to defend his position at the top of the hill, and he rushed. He put on 2 different shoes. So maybe he feels like he's not ready to do something. But the whole point of the card is that basically he's as ready as he's going to be. And so even if you are feeling like you're being pushed into making a change or making a decision this week, it basically says you are ready, even if you don't feel like it. Next, you have the Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords to me says something is dead, done, over with, more or less. Personally, I like the Ten of Swords because he's making the symbol right here with his hand. It's the same symbol the Hierophant is making on his card, and it just represents a blessing in disguise. So, yeah, something's coming to an end, but really it's kind of like a blessing, or he's experiencing a blessing. So I really wouldn't worry too much about the Ten of Swords here. I feel like really, if something's coming to an end, it's probably a good thing. Not a bad thing for you here, Scorpio. But let's see what is going on for you. And sorry, I messed up this deck. So let me just give it a good shuffle there. And let's see. With the Seven of Pentacles, you have the Page of Pentacles. Yeah, something new, basically. Page of Pentacles can be newness. He is also the card of studiousness and learning. This Mercury retrograde seems to be a good one for learning anything that you want to learn, anything new. Kind of like expanding your knowledge, or learning new ways of doing things. So again, he's a card of studiousness. I would be learning about whatever, really, we have the Six of Wands here. So the Six of Wands would be an achievement or a success. And so if there's something in your life that you want to accomplish, that's what I would be learning about with that Page of Pentacles. With the Seven of Wands, you have the Fool. Yeah, definitely time to take some sort of leap of faith. There's like a little bit of this like rip the Band-Aid off type energy going on this week. I can't really explain it, but I definitely feel it. It could be because we're right before the Mercury retrograde. It's like, you might as well get started now if you're going to be starting something before the retrograde hits. And yeah, sure, we're in the shadow. People love to tell me when we're in the shadow. I'm like, yes, I get it. But if you followed all the rules of astrology, you would live inside of a bubble and you wouldn't breathe. So, again, if you're going to be that strict about the rules, then you might as well not breathe, plain and simple. And obviously that's not a good option. So, again, sometimes we don't have the retrograde yet. So it's perfectly fine to take a leap of faith on something new or to start something new before the 9th. And even like I start things all the time during Mercury retrograde. I don't care. So, again, really, you could start whenever. But I do get that feeling for this week of kind of needing to rip the Band-Aid off and go towards something. The other thing that's standing out to me for you is this white rose that he's holding in his hand here. The white rose represents purity, or like having pure intentions. And, this kind of came up in the November readings for some people. I don't remember who, but, the readings were saying something like, if you're doing something just to make money, for example, it might not work very well. But if you're doing something because you're actually like passionate about it and you want to do it, this could be like a hobby, a business, just whatever part of your routine. You really need to make sure you're doing things for the right reasons right now. And I feel if you do that you will be, things will be much more successful. The other thing I'm getting here is that the Fool has this big ass feather in his cap here, and that feather represents kind of like having a feather in your cap. It represents the fact that he knows more than he thinks. And like I kind of get that for you here, Scorpio, where if you're learning something new, you might discover that you're actually like a natural at something. You might discover that you kind of like have some skills already that might make you learn something faster. So, again, that it could be a good time. With the Ten of Swords, you have the Sun, which is good. The Sun is the best card in the tarot, makes the whole entire reading more positive, but it kind of tells me that you're leaving behind something that is dead, done, over with, and you're moving towards something new. It's almost like you're entering into an easier time. This has come up for a couple signs as well at the end of the year here. I have to be very careful with what I say, because I'm not saying that things are going to be super easy, but just easier, right? And the whole point of the Sun is to do whatever you can to make your life easier. That doesn't mean that life is going to be easy, but he is carrying this big banner very easily, and that's the whole point of the Sun, is that he's doing something that looks hard. This looks like it should be pretty heavy, but he's carrying it very easily. And so the whole point of the Sun is to look at your life and, number one, focus on the things that are hard for most people but you can do well. We all have skills, right? And we all have skills that maybe are hard for other people that you can do easily, so do more of those things. But also look for ways to make your life easier, right? And even if it's only a little bit easier, if you stack a bunch of that on top of each other, your life becomes easier. So there you go. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this courthouse card. It says, all legal matters, disputes, contracts, important decisions, balance needed, discoveries, assessments, and taxes. You have this wealthy man. It says entrepreneur, financier, charm, career success, ambitious, young man, well-connected, auspicious results. So this could be pretty good. I feel like some of you could be getting like approval for something, or you could whatever. If you've been waiting for approval, or if you've been waiting to hear news that you have been approved for something, that's definitely popping into my head. This courthouse card also says important decision, and I do feel that there is like an important decision that you're having to make this week, probably with that infinite possibilities card that says you're on the right path. You also have the Six of Wands and the Six of Swords in the area of what's coming in for you. And so 2 6s kind of says you're on the right path, but you could be deciding to move down this path right here, the Six of Wands. The Six of Wands is the path of attention, success, achievement. He's been through something difficult, and now he's being celebrated. And I kind of feel that for you, Scorpio. Like, it's time for you to be celebrated. It's time for you to, claim your victory. Or it's like you're claiming your spot on the pedestal, like the Olympics. It's like you have to claim your spot on top of the the first place pedestal. And I feel it's time for you to kind of like, it's almost like encouraging you to stake your claim, especially in like work or business, Scorpio. It's like maybe you've been learning for a very long time, and now it's time for you to use your skills in a bigger way so that you can come in first, right? So that you can come in first place or something like that. It's kind of funny because this person here is meant to look jealous, and it is standing out to me. So maybe some of you are afraid of people's reactions to your successes or whatever, but I kind of feel this is saying it's time for you to not worry about what people will think. You have the Four Swords. Again, Mercury retrograde. Everybody's going to get the Four Swords this month. Every single reading, I guarantee it. Every single retrograde, Mercury retrograde, especially the Four Swords, always comes up. And so, I don't know, it's probably time to rest, relax, recover, heal. Make sure you're doing extra to take care of yourself and all this other stuff. I will say, Neptune retrograde is a little bit weird. We have Neptune retrograde right now until the beginning of the year. Well, I mean, it's going to go direct whenever, December, whatever that is. But what I would say is it moves back into Aries at the end of January. But Neptune retrograde, I think, can mess around with health, or can make us just need to keep an eye on our health and things like that. So I would make sure you're staying healthy. He is also hoping and praying for blessings, but I'm getting something here about needing to clarify your vision. You have the King of Swords. We go up here to the King of Swords, and there's a person who's blessing another person in the stained glass window. But with that King of Swords, it's kind of like this card is saying to me that it's almost like this retrograde, the entire month. I know this is a weekly reading, but I would say this entire month might be very good for you for getting clear on what you want your life to look like, and really, getting down into the details. Seven of Pentacles is analysis paralysis, but sometimes analysis paralysis is a good thing during Mercury retrograde, because you're like clarifying all those little details of your life. And I think when we can ask for something with clarity, we're more likely to get it. And I feel like this Four of Swords is saying this month would be a good month for you to get clear on the blessings that you're hoping to achieve or accomplish. You have the Six of Swords. Six of Swords moving on to calmer shores. Definitely could be improvements. I've seen a lot of improvements in November. I really wasn't expecting it in November, but sure, I'm not going to complain. It seems to me like people are making improvements or focusing on improvements or doing things to create improvements. And you might be saying, Chris, things look crazy in the world, and you would not be wrong. Yes, but I believe, and I think I've said this before. My mom's a psychologist, and it kind of reminds me of cognitive behavioral therapy. The whole point of cognitive behavioral therapy is you can't be in a heightened anxious state for too long. Eventually you come down, and so that's why it works, right? Because you can only be anxious for so long. I kind of feel like the world is experiencing this where it's we've all been up here for so long that it's even no matter what is going on, it's we're coming back down. I don't call me crazy. I think it's a good thing, because I think it's going to make people just be whatever and just focus on their improvements, not worry about things. And maybe that's how we get out of this mess, right? So, there you go. With the Six of Wands, you have the Ace of Swords. You also clearly have a victory coming in, because both of these cards represent having a victory or having a win. The Ace of Swords could be some sort of truth. And by the way, with this courthouse card, this could be a legal victory. The King of Swords is also law and order. So if you're dealing with something legal, then, this kind of looks to me like you're closing out a legal cycle, or, you're getting to the end of a legal battle. I threw it. With the Four Swords, you have the Hierophant here. Yeah, the Hierophant is the bridge between heaven and earth, right? He communicates with both sides. So, like I said, I think clarifying your vision, getting very clear on what you're asking for from the universe is going to be important with the Hierophant, and will probably help you get it a lot faster. But, that looks good. With the Six of Swords, you have the Five of Pentacles. It's more of that readiness feeling is what I would say. Five of Pentacles is calling attention to your weaknesses. The solution to the Five of Pentacles is to focus on your strengths. But I kind of feel with the Seven of Wands and this Five of Pentacles and the Six of Swords, it's some of you might have to move forward this week without feeling ready. And because, again, the weakness that they might be experiencing is they might just be missing something, or they might think that they don't have the resources to move forward with this Six of Swords. But I kind of feel for you, it doesn't matter. I feel the universe is saying, whether you think you're ready or not, you're ready to move forward, to move past whatever the Six of Swords is, right? And so you're kind of being asked to go no matter what. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this Transits card. It says Climate. You have this Aries card. It says Act. So again, even if you feel like you're not ready, you're probably going to be moving forward here with this card. The Climate card, I do feel November is an important month for everybody, for the energy that is surrounding them. It just seems to me like it's a good month for people to focus on their environment, which normally is what I say on the Nine of Pentacles, for example. Nine of Pentacles is an environmental card, is the energy around you. And it just, I don't know, November seems to be a month where it's asking people to make sure that they're surrounding themselves with visions of success, things that make you feel successful, listening and putting things into your head that make you feel successful, not weak with the Five of Pentacles, right? So I would be very careful of, kind of the things that you're listening to, even like music, TV shows, movies, things like that. Make sure that the things you're feeding yourself are positive, and that's definitely popping into my head. Scorpio, make sure to like and leave a comment, by the way. It really helps me out. You have the King of Swords, the Temperance card, and the Nine of Cups. The King of Swords can be law and order. I definitely feel that for some of you. He's a card of knowledge and wisdom as well, but he kind of represents turning knowledge into wisdom, which we kind of talked about with the Fool, with that feather in his cap. It's like you can know something, but until you do it, you don't actually know anything. I always use the example of like learning a language. It's like my Spanish is pretty good, but when I went to Peru, there were like words I didn't know, and and it's like there's like local slang that you can't learn unless you're there, right? And that is the King of Swords. It's like you can know something all day long, but until you actually do it, you don't really know anything, because there are things that you don't know that you can't learn unless you do it, right? And so I kind of feel the King of Swords is saying like, yeah, Scorpio, you know a lot, but you have to use that knowledge so that you can gain the wisdom. And I feel that's what he's encouraging. You have the Temperance card, more patience, more waiting energy. I always say with the Temperance card, he might be trying to make something perfect, or he's waiting for things to be perfect. He's trying to turn water into wine. But this right here is the path to glory, and there's this glowing crown. And the whole point of the Temperance card is he could easily just go claim that crown. There's like nothing more that he has to wait for. There's nothing more that he necessarily has to do. It's kind of funny because, I kind of feel like mental alchemy on the Temperance card. Temperance is alchemy, turning water into wine, turning one thing into another. But I feel it would be a good, like not even just week, but I would say the entire month would be a good month for you to practice, like mentally turning things around into something else. Instead of looking at the negative, look at the positive. Instead of thinking that something can't work, think about how it can work. And I know that sounds dumb, but I that's really what I get on the Temperance card for you here, Scorpio. You have the Nine of Cups. So again, Nine of Cups is about being in the energy of what you want. It's funny because I just said to someone else, I was talking about the difference between the Nine of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles. I look at them as very similar. They both say we have to be in the energy to get what we want. But Nine of Cups is more, more just being in the energy. Nine of Pentacles is more physical. You have to change the environment around you. So I think that, again, for you, Scorpio, it would be more important for you to be just bathing in the energy of what you want, like creating it mentally, like I just said with the Temperance card. I do feel it would be a good time to start asking for blessings. I mean, Hierophant, Four of Swords, this Nine of Cups, even the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords is about being laser-like focused on what you want. And so if you can, develop that mindset, I feel that really you might surprise yourself with what you're able to manifest at this time. With the King of Swords, you have the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, Wheel of Fortune is a change in your fortunes. And the Wheel of Fortune, we have to create that change. We have to get the wheel spinning forward. There's a couple things we can do. We can learn. Each one of these signs, Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, and Leo, they have these books in their hands. They're learning. We can face a fear. We have the snake here. Snakes are guardians of portals. Usually, if we have something we want that we don't have in life, it's because there's some sort of fear getting in the way. And so we can face a fear. We can also double down on the good stuff and get rid of the challenges in our life more quickly, so that when we do that, we are kind of lightening the load, and we're giving ourselves more energy to do what works. And so all those things would be good with the Wheel of Fortune. With the Temperance card, you have the Five of Cups. Yeah, like letting go of past disappointments. It's kind of like, I don't know. I call this revenge fantasy. I'm just giving you an example here, Scorpio, where it's like some people, we've all done it. I'm like, no one's perfect, right? I'm not calling you out or anything like that, Scorpio. But you break up with a person and you're like, if this person fell and broke their leg, I wouldn't be too upset about it. It's like the whole like wanting to see something happen, or doing things to try to like prove that you're better and things like that. I kind of get that feeling here. And I'm not calling you out or anything like that. And I'm not saying this has to do with a person, but what I am saying is, can you just let go of the past, And I feel that that's what this is asking you to do. And same thing if you're like working on a new project, for example. It's like maybe you failed a bunch of times. I feel this is saying like that's the past, but now you know more clearly because you have the Fool card, and now it's time to like clean slate energy. I think that telling yourself that you have a clean slate might be the thing that moves you forward here. With the Nine of Cups, you have the Three of Swords. Yeah, definitely a good time to heal your heart. Again, Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde is a great time for forgiveness, letting go of the past. The whole point of the Three of Swords is we have to remove those swords from our own heart, and then we will heal. And so I would be practicing, you don't have to forgive a person directly either. You can just forgive a person in your heart. It doesn't even have to be a lover. It could be, just a person you know, or whatever the case may be. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this beginner's mind. Here you go. Clean slate energy, right? It says presence, curiosity, openness, and humility. You have this petty tyrant. It says oppressor, struggle for autonomy. Yeah, some of you maybe have been trying to find your own independence, or have been trying to live your own life. And I feel that beginner's mindset, clean slate energy is exactly what's needed for you to move forward at this time. You have the Knight of Cups, the Moon, and the Queen of Cups. Could be a little bit of love. I think this reading is all about you and like what you know in your head. I think it's like a mental reading in a lot of ways, but definitely could be a knight in shining armor. The Knight of Cups, he just needs to plant seeds in front of this water and they will grow. So the Knight of Cups is very dreamy, and he is working on hopefully creating like heaven on earth, or a dream on earth. And I would just start making those moves, planting those seeds, because you might be surprised by how much progress you can make. You have the moon. The moon in the area of the good stuff kind of represents leaving a moon period, which is great. This could say that you're getting a bunch of clarity. This Mercury retrograde, a lot of people in the monthly readings for November had a bunch of stuff about clarity. So, retrogrades, they can be confusing, but they can also bring us a lot of clarity based off of, whatever we've been doing or whatever's been happening in our life all along. So, having the moon here definitely says you could be getting a lot of answers or clarity, which is great. You have the Queen of Cups. Yeah, Queen of Cups wants you to follow your heart. Again, the Fool card with the that white rose that he's holding on to is all about purity and pure intentions. There is something about this reading, like I said, that is saying to me, to you, that doing things from more of that heart-based place is going to be a better option, or will probably just lead to better results. Like, it's like sometimes that, like, I've heard stories before of people where it's like they have a choice between like a job that they know they're going to hate and like another one that maybe pays them less, but they'll love it, And really what you have to realize is like sometimes picking that one that pays you less, it's like maybe in time it will actually pay you more because you actually want to be doing it. And so, it's like some of you, I don't know, you might have a decision like that to make this week, where it's like maybe one thing looks better but from like a financial perspective, but it really isn't in the long haul. With the Knight of Cups, you have the moon. Some of you could be attracting like a Pisces here if you're looking for love, for sure. Some of you could just be getting clearer on like how to plant seeds so that you can manifest your dream here on earth. With the moon, you have the Hermit. Someone could be coming out of hermit mode here. Again, for those of you that want love, it could be either you or a person. It could be coming out of hermit mode, making their intentions known. It is a pretty good time for love. And yeah, we do have Mercury retrograde, but I always say, I think we should date during retrogrades. It's like, if you meet a person now and you date them, like, yeah, maybe it doesn't work, but if you meet them not during a retrograde, it's like maybe you end up spending like a year or 6 months with that person, then you wasted 6 months. It's like, to me, I'd rather waste a month and find out that something isn't going to work out fast, and instead of waiting 6 months, right? So, and who knows? The other thing about retrogrades is that sometimes it can just work. So, I would say don't be afraid of dating. Like, it drives me nuts when I hear people say, like, don't do this, don't do that during a retrograde. I'm like, I think it's the best time to make mistakes because you figure it out much, much faster, right? So you waste way less time. So don't be afraid of that. But I don't know, it looks good. With the Queen of Cups, you have the Justice card. We do see justice in this reading. This courthouse card, Ace of Swords, King of Swords. Could be literal justice. The Justice card can also be balance, and you could be balancing things out in your life just in general. You have this Wreath card. It says sorrow over a loss. I don't know. I really don't think so. It's like, yeah, maybe they're Ten of Swords with the Sun. It's like you can have fond memories of the past, but I don't know. I kind of feel like you're healing from some sort of loss. You have a seahorse. It says family matters on it. You always get these family cards with me, Scorpio. So, I think maybe 2025 has been a year where you're focused on family. It could be anything. It could be problems, issues, challenges. It could be good things as well. I kind of feel it's like a little bit of like a mixed bag as far as family is concerned. You have this wheel. It says indecisiveness, allowing your life to ramble aimlessly. Wheel of Fortune. And the whole first part of the reading is like saying you need to get clear on your direction so that you're not like all over the place. And there you go. You have this tulip. It says great passion. I don't know. I really feel that we have to focus on passions right now. Even in the November readings, everybody had cards of like passion or working more on things that you're passionate about. So I would. You have this older man. It says dealings with relationships in the older man. You have this carriage. It says a journey, either physical or mental. So some of you could be traveling to see an older person. You could be traveling because of an older person, but there you go. So this looks pretty good, Scorpio. Thank you for being here. Make sure to leave a comment, and definitely enjoy your week.